Okay, Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wassalamu ala rasulullah wa ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my dear brothers and sisters, and welcome back to another episode of Kahf. We talked a lot about the stories in Kahf, and today is meeting, inshallah, about the Dajjal, the Masih al-Dajjal. There are different opinions among the scholars when it comes to what the Masih al-Dajjal is actually mean in itself. Masih mean masaha, is anointed. Masih meaning muskha, meaning it is a replica of. Dajjal is the scoundrel or the deceptor, and so on and so forth. However, we have to just to give a little bit of background of the Masih al-Dajjal, not just linguistically and so on, but please note that this was the biggest fitna on earth. As a matter of fact, I will give you, inshallah, also some of the dua in the end of this lecture to be able to say before you make your taslim, among the four things that Prophet Muhammad told us that we have to look and seek protection of Al-Masih al-Dajjal. Some of the Sahaba were actually concerned about Masih al-Dajjal because of how much Prophet Muhammad used to warn them from the Masih al-Dajjal. But if he appears when I'm with you, I will take care of him. So they were a bit of at ease. But he says, after me, everyone is on their own. وَهُوَ قَادِمٌ فِيكُمْ خَارِجٌ فِيكُمْ لَا مَحَالَةً. You know what that means? That means he's coming to you, no way out. That means he's coming in this ummah Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So don't try to run. Just prepare yourself. We don't know when and we don't know how. All you have to do is make sure that we have to do. But he did mention there's every prophet and messenger that he actually warned their people from. Every prophet and messenger, nations before us, knew about the Masih al-Dajjal. And this is something that we have to be prepared for and we have to be ready for, whether we like it or not. So this hadith I'm going to share with you, inshallah, it's going to be a little bit of a pave the path in order for us to be prepared. And I will give you some of his tests, the things that he used to do, and what we will do. What is the signs that he has on his forehead? How will you know, and how you protect yourself, inshallah, would be the way we're going to finish this, inshallah. طيب عبد الله بن عمر رضي الله عنهما قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم بيننا أنا نائم رأيتني أطوف بالكعبة. رأيتني أطوف بالكعبة. As if I'm sleeping, while I'm sleeping, I saw myself roaming in the Kaaba. فإذا رجل آدم صفت الشعر رجلين ينطف الماء. So as if I see a person with the drops of water comes down. He says, ما فقلت من هذا؟ قال ابن مريم, because Prophet Muhammad explains how Isa ibn Maryam is going to descend. He's going to descend on the wings of angels in Babylon, in Sham. May Allah bring the Sham back to what it was. He's going to be wearing two clothes, and his hair will be dripping of water as if he just took a shower. His face will be white with reddish tint, and so on. So he gave us the example, inshallah. So he said, who is this person? He says this is Ibn Maryam, Isa alayhi salam. فذهبت التفت فإذا رجل أحمر جسيم جعد الرأس أعور العين. So he says, now I looked at a person. He says, this person here, he is أعور العين. أعور meaning has a lazy eye. كأن عينه عنب طافية, as if you have like a dull grape. And some of the scholars says it's his right eye, and some of the scholars says it's left eye. It doesn't really matter now which eye it is, but this is the description that we have. It says أقرب الناس به شبه ابن قطن. They had to have, one of the companions, his name is Safi. Safi used to be accused that he is Masih al-Dajjal. So he used to cry a lot. He used to be very depressed because the Sahaba used to think that he is Safi. Why? Because Prophet Muhammad used to actually walk and then he would listen to him. He would tempt him. He would make some noises. And he said that one day he was in Tafakh. He got big all of a sudden. So, he was listening to him. He says, oh, then his mother gave him a heads up, Ya Safi, and so on. So he stopped. So Prophet Muhammad came up to him. He says, what was I thinking? So فاختبأ, it says, I hid a word in my mind. What is that word? And Prophet Muhammad hid the word ad-dukhan, smoke. It's the name of a surah and among the signs of times, the 10 major signs of times. So Safi, he said, he says, ad-dukh, he almost had it. So he says, لا تعلو قدرك, belittled. So some of the companions thought it was actually him. He was the Masih al-Dajjal. So he used to say, how can I be the Masih al-Dajjal? I am in Mecca and I went to Medina. And Masih al-Dajjal cannot enter Mecca or Medina. So how do you say that I am that? And Masih al-Dajjal is a kafir. And I declare, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah Rasulullah. I am praying with you. So obviously he wasn't, but there was, I'm just speculations of that. You know what? I'm looking at this one, the story of the Qarnayn, and I'm talking about al-Dajjal. MashaAllah. You know what? It's we'll talk about Surah Al-Kahf. We'll mix it now, but it's okay. Don't worry about it. I misread it. Okay, so Dhul Qarnayn was the strongest of opinions that he was not a prophet and a messenger. He was actually a strong believer as a ruler. And Dhul Qarnayn, so the scholar says Dhul Qarnayn, the one with the two horns. The two horns actually come either from the Scandinavian that era, or the Vikings, or the one Dhul Qarnayn, meaning the east and the west. Because he reached the east and the west. So we'll mix it today, but it's okay. Don't worry about it. We'll just have a interesting today, inshallah. May Allah help us all, inshallah. See, I don't have my glasses on, and that's what I'm. That's my plea. I don't know if you're gonna buy that or not. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. So the Dhul Qarnayn, rahmatullahi alayh, he was among the very strong rulers at the time. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him the power and gave him the ability and the knowledge of, even as a chemist. Not to mention, he was very much into the ruler of the justice on the face of the earth. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala placed him in the honor to be remembered in the Quran, yutla ila yawm al-qiyamah, because of that. Now, if you notice, my brothers and sisters, if Dhul Qarnayn talked about biquwwa, and I've talked about the timeline in Surah Al-Kahf when it comes to the ummah itself, right? We said in the beginning, if you are inferior when it comes to the story of the Ashab al-Kahf, the young men that stayed in the Kahf, it says, وَلْيَتَلَطَّفْ, be gentle, right? Because you cannot take on a time of ruler. You're not there yet. So when we talked about Ashab al-Jannatayn, the owner of the two gardens, we says, يُحَاوِرُهُ, meaning that I can debate with you because we're equal, right? We're equal. But now if you have the power, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, biquwwa. Now you have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, now you can use the power and the people of authority. Now we make sure we understand that. So when the story of the Qarnayn is actually come to an area where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that he could not even understand the people when they were talking. Now, when Dhul Qarnayn had to translate, they said there are 7 types of translators in order for them to be able to get to the language of the people when they actually had to explain it to them. But the beauty of it is he got to it, the determination of it, and he learned something. It says اتخاذ الأسباب. We said that you're not accountable for the end goal, but you're accountable to take the path to the end goal. Whether you're going to make it or not, it's up to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But you're supposed to take اتخاذ الأسباب. You're planning, you put your effort and everything else, that whatever it takes in order for you to do so. Now, the other thing that Dhul Qarnayn, we learned from him, is that he did not take matters in his own hand. He actually delegated responsibilities. He's a'inuni, go ahead, help me. So he delegated responsibilities. And what other thing that you learn from this story is that he actually, when he delegated responsibility, that gives him what? He gave him the power in order for them to have something called the buy-in. The buy-in. You know what that means? I own this now. This is my idea. I want to make sure. So it says, inna Ya'juj wa Ma'juj, they will come and they will get us. So help us to build a dam. And by the way, I have seen some videos to say that this is where the dam is, and I see how soft it is. And actually, when I was teaching the course, I showed the video. Allahu A'lam, first and foremost. We don't know that. And we don't know where is Ya'juj and Ma'juj. Even though that, you have all the latest technology, and you have all the latest sonars, you can see where everything is, even under, where is it then, right? So we know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned it, Prophet mentioned it, so we believe in it, even though we don't see it. So it's another miracle, subhanallah. When the time comes, Allah will release him. So Dhul Qarnayn, he was smart enough to have to mix the metals in order for them to be very strong. They will not be able to penetrate it, and the Ya'juj and Ma'juj will not be able to come and do so. Now, the Ya'juj and Ma'juj, brothers and sisters, is a tribe that is not like any other. There was two tribes. They're among the, again, no one will stand in front of them. No one will be able to stand in front of them. Among the signs of times again. So if you think about it, من كل حدب ينسلون. They will come from everywhere, and they will. And again, I'm just reiterating, they're not the Chinese, okay? I don't want to get there. I did a post once on China once. Oh man, woo, you know what? Oh, I'm taking you on. I'm just saying, not because of that, wallahi. I'm just saying, the scholar says it's not that. Even though their definition sounds like them, and they may, they be all over the world, and their numbers are big and all of that stuff, but it's not them. Okay, so the majority of scholars, they say that's not them. It says khalq. There, you know what? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best, but inshallah we will talk about it in some of the details. But for now, it says they are very big in numbers. Let me tell you how big in numbers. They said they will come to the Buhayra Tabariya. Tabariya is in Iraq. The army was so strong. Any army will come and start to face them, they will defeat them hands down. Nobody will stand in front of them. Now, the Ya'juj and Ma'juj, they come to the Buhayra Tabariya, this lake of Tabariya. You see, the beginning of the army will drink of it. But when the end of the army comes to Buhayra Tabariya, they will say what? It says there used to be water here. You know what that means? The army was so big, they drank the lake. Can you imagine drinking a lake? In the month of Ramadan, you're so thirsty, you drink a little bit of water and that's it. You're had enough. You can't take it anymore. And this is exactly what the army was. So no one can stand in front of them. And since they're actually together, the Masih al-Dajjal, Dhul Qarnayn, Isa alayhi salam, all they were linked. And that's what Prophet Muhammad says, the signs of times, when one of them has come, it'll be like a necklace that you cut, and the pearls will come down one at a time, one after the other. So they are linked, actually. They are linked together. So the Ya'juj and Ma'juj, they defeated everyone. And now, even Isa alayhi salam, when he descends, they're all in the same time. When Isa alayhi salam descends, and he will take care of the Antichrist. The Antichrist, brothers and sisters, by the way, he is among the biggest fitna. On his forehead, he will say kafir, kafara. Actually, you can see it. A true believer can see it. Allah will give him so many powers. No one can stand in front of them. You can see the same story trending. Like Ya'juj and Ma'juj, they will wipe everybody out. Isa alayhi salam will be warned by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that these people you cannot defend. Take the believers with you and go on the top of the mountain. Same Ya'juj and Ma'juj that the Dhul Qarnayn was trying to defend those people from. And Isa alayhi salam will take the believers and go up. So now Ya'juj and Ma'juj says, قَتَلْنَا مَنْ فِي الْأَرْضِ. We have wiped everyone on the face of the earth. They were so tyrant-like, and they did not want to admit that they are actually people that they can be defeated. So they take an arrow and they point it to the heavens, the clouds, and they let go the arrow. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala plays their game. The arrow will come down dripping blood. See, we killed the people on earth and we killed the one in the heavens, meaning that they actually claim that they killed Allah. Now you will see, brothers and sisters, power, if it's not acquired with Iman, it's deadly. As a matter of fact, you'll find out. Same thing. Or ilm. Because if you don't have it, you will misuse your power to become you. What do you do? The Hiroshima, the bomb, right? To wipe people out. No rahmah. If you have the ilm with no mercy, you're going to misuse it and abuse it. So Dhul Qarnayn had the knowledge but had the rahmah. But he was firm. If those who do good, we will be let go. If those who will discipline you, but you will come back to Allah and Allah will hold you accountable for it. So Ya'juj and Ma'juj went to the extent that even Al-Masih al-Dajjal did the same thing. Why? Masih al-Dajjal, when he came in, what did he do first? He says, I'm a righteous man. That's all he did. He claimed to be a righteous man. So people roamed around him because at the time there was not too many righteous people, and you understand this, the end of time, the faith will go down. You understand the sign of time that Allah will take it off, and not one person says Allah. Why? Because Allah created this world for what? Hatta yu'raf. So Allah is known. So when Allah la yu'bad, there's no reason. If Allah is not worshipped, there's no reason for this creation. So He takes him out. Not even one person will say Allah. And I'll tell you that in the whole story, inshallah. That's what Isa alayhi salam comes in. But Al-Masih al-Dajjal, he first says, I am a righteous person. So people will follow him. Then when his following gets bigger, and I'm just saying, if your following gets bigger on your social media, don't get conceited, yani. Humble yourself down. So he's now saying, what? Wow, I have a lot of people following me now. He says, you know what? I'm not just a righteous person, I'm a prophet. Allahu Akbar. Yadda'i nubuwwah. He's now telling him, I'm a prophet. Follow me. And some people will. You understand? And after that, by the way, he will claim godhood. Ana ilah. Worship me. You see how shaitan takes you one step at a time? And by the way, remember, the scholars say this is the biggest fitna on earth in history of humanity. There's not bigger fitna than the Masih al-Dajjal. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives them so much power at the time. And by the way, the one who were following is 70,000 from Asfahan. Asfahan is in Iran. You know, the Jews of Iran will follow him. And by the way, the Jews don't think that Isa alayhi salam is the Masih. We believe that he is the Masih, the Messiah, the true Messiah. We got Al-Masih, Isa ibn Maryam. Masih, who? Isa ibn Maryam. Allah said that in the Quran. The Messiah, the chosen one, the anointed, is Isa ibn Maryam, Isa alayhi salam, the son of Mary. So we believe that. But the Jews, they actually don't. And that's one of their followers, most of the followers, 70,000 of them from Asfahan alone will follow Al-Masih al-Dajjal. Prophet Muhammad says, don't try it. Don't try to say, you know what, I'm a strong believer. I can take him. He said, don't do that. He says, even keep your women away. Keep the weak away. Don't go there, except one person. I'm going to tell you about him, inshallah. One person. And as a matter of fact, Prophet mentioned him in the hadith. So in the Antichrist comes in, starting to be a righteous man, to be a prophet, and all of a sudden he's God. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives him the power to do what? You know, any a barren land, he says, Amtari. Do you believe it? If you have the power to tell the clouds to go ahead and rain, Allah will command it to rain under the command of by the permission of Allah, of course. But for whom? For Masih al-Dajjal. Could you imagine all of a sudden your animals are ganti, their bones, skin and bones. No, it says, you know what? Let the ribs be full, and the cattle will be full. All of a sudden they're not ganti anymore. They're full of flesh, full of meat, and their breast is full of milk. And the land that you thought was a desert turned into green. The cultivation, the fruit, and the vegetables are there. Can you believe it? And he will tell the akhriji kunuzik, he will talk to the earth, take your treasures out. And what do you think comes out? All the precious metals come out, all the precious stones come out, all the stuff that comes out. And he will have a river, two rivers with them. One is fire and one is water. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, don't be fooled. Water is fire and the fire is water. So if you get thirsty, he says Bismillah in the fire that is the river of fire, and you go ahead. Lord, you get this water, inshallah. So you can understand now how the power he had. The people will follow him, except one man. Now he's very strong. Now people worship him, they follow him. There's a huge army, except one man. This one man was mentioned in the hadith. Again, this is the strongest of faith at the time. This is a young man goes up to him and says, can I speak to your God? Can I speak to Masih al-Dajjal? The first do not allow him. Says, you know what? He hears him, says, go ahead, let him. So they allow him in. Says, do you know who I am? Says, I know who you are. Our prophet told us about you. What does that mean? It means that the story will be alive till then. That means this teaching will survive till the time. What happens? He says, Wallahi, I know who you are. He says, you are the Masih al-Dajjal. You are the Antichrist that told us. And I can see, Kahf, Ra. And by the way, he is more of a darker skin with a reddish tint. One eye is lazy and crooked hair. You know that afro looking, with all due respect to everybody, inshallah. And now you can see all the signs are there. He says, bow to me. He says, no, I will not bow to you. Do you believe in me? He says, no. So he says, now, let's see this. He takes a sword and he cuts him in half. Can you imagine? In front of everyone, he cuts him in half. And then he walks in the middle of that body. Two can you imagine you have been split, one body, one side is this side, one side is this side. And he walks into your body, and after he walks, he says, Qum, get up, erect, and you will get up, back alive again. What kind of fitna is this, man? So he says, now do you believe in me? He says, Wallahi mazdadtu bika illa kufra. By Allah, I only have more disbelief in you. Yeah. So he says, now he wants to cut him again. So he takes his swords and he wants to cut his neck off, not cut him in half now. And Prophet Muhammad says, yuhalu baynahu wa bayna an-nuhas. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala turns his neck into copper, and he will not be able to do it. And he says, no, he will not be able to harm anyone after. Now you can understand, the brothers and sisters, this is a major fitna here. You're not dealing with anything more than miracles. He says, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, "Ma bayna khalq Adam ila qiyam as-sa'a khalq akbar min ad-dajjal." There's nothing bigger than that. Nothing bigger than that. Okay. As a matter of fact, of the narration of Adi ibn Hatim al-Ta'i in the Sahih Bukhari, he says that, you know what, we were on a ship and it wrecked. It was a heavy night, and the ship wrecked. And we went into a cave, an island. We don't know what it is. We just ended up in it, and we saw a beast. That beast was also among the major 10 signs of time. It says تتحدث. This is the Jathia, right? Al-Jathatha. You know, the were roams. And he says they will talk. And it had so much hair, we didn't know what the front and the back. And we saw a huge man, and he was chained. He says, who are you? They were afraid of him. He says, I can't do anything. I'm chained. You tell me who you are. Where are you from? He says, from Arab Peninsula. He says, where the land of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He didn't say that. He says, is he out? He says, no, he's not yet. He says, Yushak and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has almost released him. Who's telling this? This is Adi Hatim al-Ta'i radiallahu anhu. When he came to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he declared Islam, this is the story I was telling you about. He was given the khutbah. I will not be able to go to Taiba. He says, Allah, the Taiba, this is Taiba, Medina. So he's protected, alhamdulillah. So if you have some money, please make sure that you invest in Mecca and Medina, because he's not going to be able to go there, because there are two angels will not allow him on any gates, alhamdulillah, by the blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah grant us an ending there, ya Rabb. Ameen. So now Masih al-Dajjal is in that island, telling you exactly what it is. He says he's a'war, a lazy eye. So as I said, mentioned, one says it's right, one says it's left. It says he said in that case, he says يخرج الدجال من يهودية أصبهان. This is the 70,000 I was telling about, and this hadith is again in رواه أحمد في مسنده in Sahih. He says he comes out, and the Jews will be actually following him the most. And also Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam says in the hadith, and Fatima bint Qais radiallahu anha, and then Dajjal says, "Ushika ayyudana li fil khuruj." I am this close. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will allow me to come out. This is in Sahih Muslim. Again, وثبت أيضا أن الدجال لا يدخل المسجد الأقصى. So there are three things, the places that he will not enter. The stronger opinion obviously is Mecca and Medina, but there is one narration also that says he will not be able to come in the Aqsa. He says وإنه يلبث فيكم 40 صباحا. He will stay with us for 40 days. So he says 40 days like we know now. He says no, the days are not the same. The first day will be like a year. The second day will be like a month. And the third day will be like a week. After days will be يومكم هذا. You can understand now, it's just totally different. We cannot comprehend this. It doesn't make sense to us. It's obvious. But if you think about it, my brothers and sisters, this is something among it's ghaibi. We believe in it. It's narrated. Quran and Sunnah we accept. It's unknown. It's unseen. Among it's our aqidah. We believe in it. Now he says the first day is like a year. Second day is like a month. Third day is like a week. Fourth is that. What do you think if Prophet ﷺ was telling you that, what do you think you would think about first? How am I going to eat? How do I sleep? If the sun is up for 40, like for a year, man. You know what? What about work? Am I working all that day? Are they going to pay me overtime? Is that what you're thinking? Okay. Well, the Sahaba radwanullahi alayhim ajma'in was thinking of something totally different. You know what were they thinking? Go ahead. I'll give you a chance. They were thinking, how do I pray, Ya Rasulullah? If you tell me that day is like a year, how do I pray? And so on, a month and a week. So Prophet says, "Aqitu lah," guesstimate. For example, from this time to this time, I pray five prayers, and so on and so forth till it becomes normal. I remember this true story. First time I went to Australia, I left Toronto on Wednesday night. So alhamdulillah, you get a seat by the window so I can monitor, the sunrises, the sunsets. So that's how I know where I am and so on. However, I had no idea this was the first time actually leaving from Toronto to Sydney, Australia, and I had no idea that I was actually going the other side. I'm gaining time. I'm not losing time when you come to the west. In the east, you're gaining time. So I'm looking at the time. You know what? So okay, let's do a little bit of Quran. Let's do a bit of Qiyam. Let's make a dua. Let's make dhikr. And I'm every bit I raise the window. No sunrise, not one, even Fajr Sadiq, Fajr Kazib, anything, man. The false Fajr, the truth Fajr. There's no, the light is not coming up, the light is not going up perpendicular or horizontal, nothing. So all of a sudden, it feels such a long time, almost 20 hours. I see something across the eyes. Oh, finally, whoo, okay, let's catch Fajr. Then I land. I go, what day is it, man? He goes, it's Friday, Sheikh. What happened to Thursday, man? I didn't know. So I had to make up 5 prayers that I lost of the Thursdays. That's why the scholar says you أقط لها. And they get that proof from the hadith of the Al-Masih al-Dajjal, where the day will be in the 40 days, and so on and so on. So this is what we can use the qiyas, my brothers and sisters. But you can understand the commitment, how much they love the salah, how much they were committed to it. They were concerned. The Mahdi was always there. So now you understand when the Masih al-Dajjal comes in, how he will do, and he will roam. He will roam the earth. He will go all over the place, and people will follow him. And now, everything is at the same time. Let's go back to Ya'juj and Ma'juj. Isa alayhi salam will come down, and he will take care of Masih al-Dajjal. The one narration says he will actually yaqtulhu, he will kill him. The other one, it says when Masih al-Dajjal smells the aroma of Isa alayhi salam, yadub kal-milh fil ma', he will dissolve. Now al-Masih al-Dajjal, when he gets rid of the when Isa alayhi salam gets rid of the Masih al-Dajjal, now he hears that the Ya'juj and Ma'juj are released. Now Dhul Qarnayn, he's done his job. He put the set together, he did everything else, but now you understand when they start, they're poking, right? They're trying to get through that dam that Dhul Qarnayn put together. But the narration says that they will make a hole, and then you recite Surah Al-Kahf, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will seal that hole. Every time they try it, and He will seal the hole. That means one day Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, either somebody will not recite Surah Al-Kahf, or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will allow him to do it. Whatever it is, we accept as is, inshallah. So I already told you, you're going to recite the 10 ayat, the first 10 ayat of the Surah Al-Kahf, or the last 10 ayat of Surah Al-Kahf will protect you from the Masih al-Dajjal. So I'm also going to ask you, every prayer from now on, you're going to make 4 dua before you say taslim. Right? Allahumma na'idu min adhab jahannam, adhab al-qabr, wa fitnat al-mahi al-manat, wa fitnat al-Masih al-Dajjal. Yes? So Allah, I ask you I seek protection in you from the punishment of the grave, punishment of the hellfire, and the punishment of life and the death, and the greatest fitna of the Masih al-Dajjal. If you do that, you will be protected, inshallah. So Isa alayhi salam now is commanded by Allah, let's go back to where I left you, to go up to the mountain, him and the believers. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends birds. And after that, they can. You know who's going to take care of Masih al-Dajjal? The Ya'juj and Ma'juj, brothers and sisters? The nukes of America and Russia, or the China comes in also. The biggest powers that we now know that they're not power at all, because they can't even address thing you cannot see with your naked eye, a virus. That's why I say that I'm happy, because the masks have fallen. All these powerful people are not powerful. They cannot even defend themselves, no matter how rich they are or powerful they are. I was watching an episode today that the Americans they're coming out of Afghanistan. They had 24,000 vehicles that they had to move. It's going to cost them $6 billion to move it back, and the maintenance and all of that stuff. Unbelievable, subhanallah. All that power, nothing. can't do anything. That's why I'm trying to tell you, Allah's in control. Don't ever get any other ideas. Now, when Isa alayhi salam goes up, he makes a dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect him and the believers. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends worms, yes, that will go in the necks of the Ya'juj and Ma'juj, wipe them. They will just dissolve. Like a sci-fi movie. The FX, special effect, you will see them dissolve. And these were too many. That the stench will be so much. Isa alayhi salam will make dua again to Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will send big birds with the necks like the necks of camels. They will carry the deceased corpse of the Ya'juj and Ma'juj, and they fill the earth. Filled. It's so much stink they cannot live. So they carry it and they put it, Allahu A'lam, where? The narration did not say. Some people say it's around somewhere in the ocean. Allahu A'lam, God knows best. But the stink's still there. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends rain to cleanse the earth, and it goes back to being nice and clean. And that's when Isa alayhi salam comes back with the true believers, and so on and so forth. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will send that gentle wind to take care of all the believers at the time. Only the disbelievers, they will be roaming the earth, and that's وَعَلَيْهَا تَقُومُ السَّاعَةِ. And that's when the hour is established. Because no one will say La ilaha illallah. They will not even say Allah. You understand? And that's what the purpose of this whole thing, my brothers and sisters. So we don't know when. All you have to remember is we have to know what to do in order for us to protect us. And I'm going to leave you with one hadith. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was asked a question. I know I mentioned this before. Just a reminder, inshallah. Because to be honest with you, I don't know if I talked to you or it was another group or not, but you know what? It's okay. Remind them, and it's beneficial for the believers. When Prophet Muhammad was given a sermon, a man came in. He didn't know the etiquettes and matters of that. He says, Mata sa'a. He's asking while he's talking. So Prophet doesn't answer him. Some of the companions says maybe he's angry with them. Some of the companions says, you know what? Maybe he didn't hear him. But when Prophet finished, he says, Aina sa'il? Where's the one who asked about the sa'a, the hour? He says, Ana Rasulullah. Says, he did not answer him. He did not give him the 99 minor signs. He didn't give him the 10 signs. It's mentioned in Sahih Bukhari. You know what he said? He says, وَمَا أَعْدَدْتَ لَهَا. What have you prepared for it? And that's exactly what I'm going to leave you with, inshallah. What have you prepared for it? So I'm also going to leave you with something. Because we're in the last 10, brothers and sisters. You have to prepare yourself for the night of power. And I'm going to remind you again, and we'll talk to the earlier group today, says, Allah says, خَيْرٌ مِّنْ أَلْفِ شَهْرٍ. So this person used to make the same. Equal to 1,000 months, 83 years. Incorrect. Allah says it's better than 1,000 months. That worship of one night is better than worshipping 83 years and a few months. Allahu Akbar. So that's inshallah what you can do. You can ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect you. Because al-qadr, laylat al-qadr is exactly, al-qadr is what tuqaddar. The decree and the divine decree is released at that day. Yeah. So of that night, inshallah. So make dua, and the best dua, remember, just a reminder, inshallah, Allahumma innaka afuwun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anna. Oh Allah, you love pardoning, so pardon us. Why is pardon? Why didn't we say Allahumma maghfir li? Oh Allah, forgive me. Ghafara is cover. You cover. Ghafar is meaning that cover your sin. But afu, erase it from the records. You get like a pardon. No one, it's not going to be in the records on Judgment Day. Period. It's gone. And that's why Prophet Muhammad was asked with Aisha in Sahih Bukhari, what is the best thing I can do in Laylat al-Qadr? Say, Allahumma innaka afuwun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anna. Ameen. Wa akhir da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Wa sallam ala alihi wa sahbihi wa tabi'in. Jazakumullah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My dear Islam, and don't forget me dua. I won't forget me dua, inshallah. And again, there is questions. If I can only see, I read somewhere that Dhul Qarnayn was said to be enter Alexander the Great. Okay, I heard that too on Cyprus. Okay, so I'll tell you that is actually an incorrect statement because the time span was way after. So Alexander the Great was way after the Dhul Qarnayn. I received that question before, but Zahbureen Muhammad, may Allah bless you, inshallah. Dhul Qarnayn is not Alexander the Great. I understand. Not the one that came to that area. Barakallah fikum, inshallah. Is there any other questions before I go, brothers and sisters? Okay, fantastic. So with that, I thank you for taking me in your home. May Allah bless you, your health and wealth and family, inshallah. May Allah protect you in this month of Ramadan. May Allah make us among the Utaqa'a for Shahr Ramadan. Ameen. Expiate our necks from the hellfire. Erase our names from that list. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us from hellfire. Grant us the highest level of Firdaus al-A'la. Be with Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as we are together today, inshallah. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept from you all the ta'ad, the siyam, the qiyam, the Quran, the ruku', the sujood, and the dua. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make this Eid the best Eid. And inshallah we will meet together again next week. Jazakumullah anna khaira. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.